The story of Korah is one of rebellion, divine judgment, and a sobering warning about the dangers of pride and defiance against God's chosen authority. It unfolds during Israel's long and difficult journey from Egypt to the Promised Land, a period marked by miracles, trials, and frequent uprisings against Moses and Aaron. Korah was a Levite from the Kohathite clan, a group responsible for carrying the most sacred objects of the tabernacle. This was a privileged duty, yet Korah was not satisfied. Although he already held an honorable position among the Levites, he desired more. He wanted the priesthood, a role that had been given exclusively to Aaron and his descendants. Korah's discontent did not remain private. He began stirring up opposition against Moses and Aaron, gathering a group of influential leaders to challenge their authority. He was joined by Dathan and Abiram, leaders from the tribe of Reuben, and On, along with 250 prominent Israelite men. These were not ordinary individuals. They were respected figures, well known within the community. Their rebellion was a direct challenge to the leadership structure that God had established. Their accusation was bold and confrontational. They claimed that Moses and Aaron had taken too much power for themselves, arguing that all Israelites were equally holy and that there was no reason for them to have sole authority. On the surface, their argument appeared to be about fairness, but in reality, it was about personal ambition and a desire for power. Moses, recognizing the seriousness of the situation, proposed a test. The next day, Korah and his followers would come before the Lord with censers filled with burning incense, just as the priest did. The Lord himself would reveal whom he had chosen. This was significant because offering incense was a sacred act reserved only for those appointed by God. Moses also reminded Korah that being a Levite was already an honored role, and by demanding more, he was not just challenging Moses, he was challenging God. Meanwhile, Dathan and Abiram, the Reubenite co-conspirators, refused to even meet with Moses. Their accusations went beyond leadership disputes. They criticized the entire journey to the Promised Land, implying that Moses had failed them. Their rebellion was not just about religious authority, but also about dissatisfaction with the hardships of the wilderness. The next day, Korah and his 250 followers stood before the entrance of the tabernacle, each holding a censer with burning incense. Moses and Aaron stood opposite them, awaiting God's response. Suddenly, divine glory appeared before the entire assembly. God declared his intention to destroy them all, but Moses and Aaron interceded, pleading for the lives of the innocent. In response, God instructed the rest of the Israelites to move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, signaling that judgment was about to fall. Moses then made a chilling proclamation. He stated that if these men died naturally, then he was not truly sent by God. But if something unprecedented happened, if the earth itself opened up and swallowed them alive, it would be proof that they had defied the Lord. As soon as he finished speaking, the ground beneath Korah, Dathan, and Abiram split apart. In an instant, they, along with their families and possessions, were swallowed alive, and the earth closed over them. At the same time, a fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who had offered incense, demonstrating that their unauthorized worship was unacceptable. The people of Israel, terrified by what they had just witnessed, cried out in fear. Yet rather than learning from the event the very next day, they once again murmured against Moses and Aaron, blaming them for the deaths of their fellow Israelites. This further provocation led to a plague breaking out among them. Moses instructed Aaron to take a censer with incense and make atonement for the people. As Aaron stood between the living and the dead, the plague stopped. But by then, 14,700 more Israelites had perished. To reaffirm Aaron's priesthood and settle the dispute once and for all, God instructed each tribe's leader to place a staff in the tabernacle overnight. By morning, Aaron's staff had budded, sprouted blossoms, and even produced almonds, while the others remained lifeless. This miraculous sign proved beyond doubt that Aaron and his descendants were chosen for the priesthood. Although Korah himself perished, his story did not end in complete destruction. His descendants survived and later played a significant role in Israel's worship. Many psalms were attributed to the sons of Korah, who became musicians and worship leaders in the temple. This suggests that while God judged Korah's rebellion, he did not erase his lineage, allowing his descendants to return to faithful service. The story of Korah is a stark warning about the dangers of pride, jealousy, and rebellion against divine authority. Korah was not content with the honored position he had been given. He wanted more. His ambition led to his downfall, and his defiance against God resulted in catastrophic judgment. His story also emphasizes the importance of respecting the roles that God assigns. While all of Israel was chosen as a holy nation, specific people were given particular responsibilities. Attempting to seize a role that was not assigned was not just ambition, it was defiance against God's plan. Korah's legacy also serves as a reminder of both divine justice and mercy. Though he was judged, his descendants were later restored, showing that God does not hold the sins of the fathers against the children who turn back to him. This story stands as a powerful lesson in humility, obedience, and the consequences of challenging divine authority. It warns against the dangers of unchecked ambition and the need to trust in God's established order, rather than seeking power for personal gain.